Hello, everyone from Akasa Living, and I'm here with friend Lisa K. Because I'm not even going to butcher it. I'm not even going to try it. Lisa, do you want to pronounce your last name for us, or do we just want to leave it? Or you want to do like me and just go by a first name? People say, "Why do you only go by a first name?" And I'm like, "Well, if you grew up Leon Burger, you would too."
It's easy though. It's just Karasek, but you can call me Lisa.
Lisa, yes. Well, I was my name is, as you know, legally is spelled with e's, and so my name's been butchered my whole life. So yeah, so um Lisa, thank you for joining me. Lisa of Mind, Body, Spirit Guidance, who is just incredible. Lisa, the other day we were having a conversation much like this, and it's actually part of the new manual for Diana of Crave More Life, for her certification of the Crave More Life certification, Find Your Voice, Save Your Life, that we did a meditation together for. And thank you for joining me for that. But oh, thank you. That was fantastic of you to do twice the energy, folks. So if you're a healer, if you're interested in being certified, or if you just want to learn, this new manual will be out soon, and do take advantage of that opportunity. But Lisa and I tag teamed in that because I already had the meditation, but I wanted to do some teaching beforehand because the information is not in the manual. Although some information I have is there, there's information not there. And Lisa and I end up talking about this love and fear continuum. So Lisa, if you would teach just a little bit about the love fear continuum, and then girl, I'm going to cut loose because today has been whoa. So if you would do a little of that love fear continuum thing for us, I would appreciate it.
Okay. The only problem is I'm holding my phone, so I need both hands.
Okay, I'll do this, and you tell me what to do.
Okay.
Know what to do.
So one of your hands is love, and the other hand is fear, and they're on a spectrum. So love is always the one, and everything up to and just before love is fear, some version of fear, every emotion, every adjective you can think of. So all of that is fear. Only love is by itself. So if you're not feeling love, you're feeling some form of fear. It may not, like, you might not think of it as fear. You might think of it as another emotion or another adjective, but it's a form of fear somehow. And the trick is to figure out how it's a fear. And that's where you need to do the work.
So it could be anxiety. It could be a stress of any kind. It could be it can manifest itself as I just don't want to face the world today. It could be it could cause you to just turn off what you're listening to and say that person's just an idiot. I can't listen to that anymore. It could be anything that causes you to feel anything less than this is great. I feel love. I feel good. Anything that's not a high vibrational emotion, anything less than love and above is some degree of fear.
Yes. And it's coming from somewhere. There's a reason that you developed that coping mechanism, strategy, something. It's coming from somewhere.
It is so odd that you use the word the phrase coping mechanism, because I say that what we're all healing from is coping. Because
yeah, absolutely.
Coping means that this stuck energy that we have just been building things around it and leaving it there, and we have not been removing it. And so we've been coming up with ways to cope with it, but not moving it. And therefore, since we didn't remove it, as the energy that is us has tried to come down through our energetic column, through the chakra system, well, there's another trauma, drama, blame, shame, woulda, coulda, shoulda that we've been coping with. There's another blockage, restriction, or constriction that we've been coping with, that we have left there, that we can't do anything with that. We can't do anything about that. Well, it's family, or it's, well, that's just how things are. Or, well, you've got to buck up and take that. So here's a way you can deal with that. No, we don't deal with it. We move the energy we give the energy back to whatever, whoever was involved, higher vibrational than we got it, or at least equal to, not less than, none of that, send it back, none of that.
They're adopted beliefs.
Right.
They're not yours. They're adopted.
Right. Pull your energy out of it, raise your energy up to a higher level of awareness, because that's what consciousness is. So I want you to get into that in just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Then go
Mm-hmm.
forward on your timeline. But this whole coping thing means I'm not going forward. It means I'm staying in the loop, and I'm going to stay right there. And the energy that is me is not going to come down and do a damn thing about it. I just blocked it all.
Or
But
halted it, or slowed it, impeded
right,
it, something.
right. But we're all acting on one another's energy and staying right here and feeding off of one another's energy. And staying right here doing the same thing over and over and over and over, and not expanding consciousness, not growing, not learning new things, not becoming aware of new things, but just doing the same thing.
Hearing but not listening, or listening but not hearing, however you want to. Yeah.
Monkey see, monkey do, or like that knows that hear no evil, see no evil, all those things. Yeah. So how would you define, I kind of gave my definition of what my definition of conscious awareness is really basic, but would you like to give us how you would describe what is this conscious awareness stuff we're talking about? What is going up in vibrational frequency? What is this 3D 5D stuff? Well, what the are we talking about with this anyway?
We know each other so well, but I don't know if you know this about me. I'll be honest. And if you do, I'll be a little surprised. But you do know that I co-wrote 4 books.
Yes.
The first book I co-wrote, I launched, my chapter was the first chapter that launched the book, and it turned into a series of 5 books. And every chapter in the 5-book series is told to go back and reference my chapter, the first chapter in the first volume.
Right.
That the title of that chapter is Consciousness.
Right.
So I'm going to answer your question, but I just want to let people know that from that chapter, I went on to create my signature course on consciousness mapping. So here's the way I describe conscious awareness in the chapter, and how, when I'm working with clients, and what I teach in my course and whatnot. All of those times that we give away a small piece of ourselves by saying no when we should be saying yes, or saying yes when we should be saying no, when we allow ourselves to be manipulated, when we allow someone to take a little piece of our heart, when we get caught up and the relationship turns out to be something unexpected, and we wind up giving away parts of ourselves, or allowing ourselves to be dimmed down, or, and anytime pieces of us slip away, unless you call all of those fragments back, you're not whole.
Oh, yes.
And that's healing. And so that conscious awareness, the way I describe it in the chapter is, imagine holding a glass, out, and you let it go, and it drops and it shatters on the floor. So the glass will break into large pieces, small pieces, and then shards. So the pieces, the large pieces, the small pieces, and the shards are broken down into things like, giving away pieces of yourselves, and like the events and the circumstances around them, the people, involved, and, things like that. So there are labels for the pieces and the shards. And so the healing journey is about pulling all of those pieces, coming back together, restoring it, storying it, healing it, and making yourself complete and whole again. Stepping into your authentic truth, shedding those limiting beliefs, finding yourself again, picking yourself back up, and up leveling. Not only do you, like, at first, I thought I just wanted to be the person I used to be. But then as I started healing, I realized I met her and then I kept going. And it was like I had to keep up. Like, wow, where did I go?
Right.
Like, yeah. And so you find yourself, and then you're like, wow, I actually am so much more than that. And when you can look back and measure how far you come, and measure like how long it takes to overcome things, or like there's so many different measurements you can take at that point. But those are all different ways that you can find conscious awareness about yourself, your environment, your circumstances, your just everything on so many different levels when you really do the work.
What I have said is that the reason in meditation we call ourselves back to ourselves is that every conversation we have, every interaction we have, every thing that we don't even realize when we're just sitting in a room with someone, the energy that they take from us, we are fragmenting every time we do that. And so when someone even wants something different for us than we want for ourselves, and they put out that energy, they fragment us during the day. So we are giving everyone's energy back to them. Mm-hmm. And not in that I just cringe when I hear that, and send it back to them 10 times worse than they meant to send it to you. And what about that is love? We'll get to that in a moment, but yeah. As high vibrational as they are able to accept it, and as you are able to send it, and you pull yours back to you, because we want to be whole and complete, as you said, because wholeness is wellness. And we want to then use all that energy to go forward on our timeline as high vibrational as possible, because we are constantly up leveling, because levels of conscious awareness, we are energy. Energy is a vibration. Energy, it vibrates. That's how we detect energy. Energy is constantly vibrating. Knowledge vibrates. It is a sensation. When you ask somebody how they know something, eventually they'll get frustrated and they'll say, well, I just feel it. That is because we feel the sensation, the vibration of the knowledge. Okay. Now, it doesn't vibrate quite like emotion does, but we do feel knowledge. We have that aha moment when we know. It lights up. We know. That's not a thinking mind thing. It is a vibration that we get. It is a transmission that we get in a chakra, which is where in points of energetic transference. So it is not a thinking thing. It is an energy thing. So everything is energy, emotion. And energy is a vibration, and everything we feel vibration. So everything is feeling, which is sensation, which is emotion, energy in motion. So everything with us, we are whole when we feel how the best we can feel. So we are right. So we are constantly up leveling how we feel is what we're doing. So the more we know about something, because that's vibrating faster, we have up-leveled our knowledge. We are more consciously aware. I know more about a subject. I'm more consciously aware. I'm feeling better about something. I'm more consciously aware. I'm vibrating at a high. I'm not in hate anymore. I'm not sending bad energy back to somebody. I'm more consciously aware. It's anytime we up-level in frequency, we are more consciously aware. That doesn't make us smarter than someone necessarily. It doesn't mean that I'm a brighter person than that other person, but it does mean that I am vibrating at a frequency that is different than they are. Therefore, my perception of things is different. My response is different. And what feels good to me is different than what feels good to them. And so the vibration I send out and the vibration they send out do not resonate or are not harmonious with one another. And we don't feel good in one another's spheres of influence, energetic bandwidths. our energetic fields together are not harmonious. It's like being in the same orchestra, but we're not both tuned in the same 440 bandwidth. Most international tuning is 440. They tuned in 430. I tuned in 440, and we're trying to play in the same orchestra. It's like that. And so that's kind of how I describe it. So and that's a kind of a complex way, but it's very much what you're saying. It's exactly what you're saying. Yeah, it's the same thing. Conscious awareness is, and it's constantly up leveling. We never get there and stay there. We're never totally whole, because every day, every moment, energy is moving. So it's going out. So we've constantly got to be calling it back. So we're never whole. And when we're calling it back to ourselves, we're up leveling, because as we do things, as we have experiences, oh, wow, something new comes to us. And that means something that we've experienced before, we now know, there's a better way. There's another way. Something made me vibrate faster. So that may mean that an experience we had before, we now see it differently. And it may even mean that we see it so differently that it's a trauma, drama, blame, shame, woulda, coulda, shoulda, or something like that. And therefore, we need to remove that from our energetic field, because it's a blockage, it's a restriction, it's a regret, it's a, man, I shouldn't have done that. It's one of those things. We have to let it go or forgive ourselves, because letting go has to be a feeling, an emotion, because everything has to equate back to, how do you feel about it? Because that is what we are. We are vibrating. We are energy vibrating, feeling in consciousness through density. We are feeling through density. We are energy expressing itself in density. And we're in frequency, and that it means feeling in physicality. So how do we let go of something? We have to forgive it. Well, didn't know any better, so I did that. Got to let that go. Coping with something is not letting it go.
Right.
And so coping with something, all these damn coping mechanisms we taught, let them go. Yeah. So we are healing from coping. So all of this talk there.
And if I can expand on that. So
yes,
we have this experience, and we're like, oh, I didn't like that. And then it happens a second time, and you're like, oh, I really don't like that, and I really don't want that to happen again. And so you develop a coping mechanism. And then you're kind of ready, and then it happens again, and it turns into a strategy or a pattern. And then it keeps happening, and it becomes a cycle. And then it keeps happening, and it becomes a trigger. So when it becomes a trigger, that's when you have to recognize, be consciously aware that you have this pattern or cycle about you. And it then becomes choice. You have to choose to change your reaction, change your responses, do something different, do a different behavior. Instead of coping, it's a conscious choice to not behave that way again, to try a different coping mechanism, to take a risk and try something new, try from a different perspective, try a different tactic, try a different angle, get a different result. And every time we do that, we learn. And when we learn, we up level. It's a conscious ascension.
Yes, I actually have the word reactions over here. I love that. I love how this all flows together. So essentially, though, what's keeping us in this loop? What's keeping us in this loop is this notion that we have that it's the thinking mind and our ability to think through this with something that's programmed. What's programmed cannot come up with it cannot conceive of the new concept that is going to be this new level of conscious awareness. So where does
the program is the adopted belief.
And that
comes from someone else.
Right. That comes from the whole complete light being that we are, from the highest vibrational aspect part of us. And we have to be consciously aware that we are this whole complete light being, and that the part that we are physically, that the programmable mind is looping in, this physicality part, we are the expression part that has to be consciously aware that when it comes to new things and breaking patterns and staying in feeling good, that comes from our chakra system being intact and activated, and our whole complete light beingness, the highest vibrational part of us, our higher self, as some people wants to call it, but I don't like dividing us that way. That comes from our chakra system being intact, and the thinking part of us, the part that really should be doing the thinking, the part, the control tower of us, if you will, that can see, that is vibrating the fastest. Let's put it that way. And therefore has new information that has expanded in consciousness, sending that signal down that is going to be refracted and experienced through us. That is where the new information comes from. And it's energy. It is energy. The part of us that we come from to begin with. We are one whole complete light being. You talked about wellness being wholeness. We have been divided in the world's eyes into a physical being that has something that comes into us, a spirit of something that we can choose to have, choose not to have, choose to believe in, choose not to believe in, but that our energy, our life force, et cetera, comes from this physical body that we have to maintain, we have to keep healthy, and it's only going to live so many years, and then all the energy is going to da-da-da-da-da, and no, that is wrong. And all of that is creating those blockages and restrictions that is blocking where the energy, which is our life force, comes from. It comes
from fear.
Right. That is totally backwards. And where it actually comes from is we are one whole complete light being. It starts here. Love. Love, fear. Love, fear. Your love. In the frequency of love, we're vibrating, and we have all this knowledge, all these emotions that we have slowed down to be expressed in physicality. But we have to keep the chakra system clean for it to be done, for us to have the best experience possible. But then we have the experience, and the programmable mind gets in the loops that you talked about, messes up the chakra system, and the new stuff can't come down because we stay in the old stuff out of fear. Out of fear.
Mm-hmm.
And
because it's comfortable there. It's more comfortable to remain there than it is to try something new and different.
Because we are not consciously aware, we have not understood that this is what we are and this is how it works. If we had always understood, hold on a second, this really isn't comfort. I'm one whole complete light being. If we knew from the beginning, okay, I've had this experience. Now that didn't go so well. All I have to do is send up, okay, this is what I want different. Our customer service survey, send that up to the part of us that gets, that can do something about it, and say, okay, up there in the energy vibrating real fast world, part of me, that seemed like a really good idea, but down here in the physical expression part of it, it didn't go so well. It didn't feel the way we thought it would feel. We wanted to feel differently. We need to upgrade that somehow. Okay, let's upgrade it. If we knew, if we trusted, if we even knew about that loop and trusted that loop.
And recognize that it's not ours. Mine, not mine.
That right. Then if we trusted that system was in place and worked, if we knew about it and trusted it, that's what we would do. And we wouldn't be in this fear, and we wouldn't stay locked here and say, well, I don't really like it, but it's better than, well, it's better than something. I don't know what it's better than, but it's better than that because I don't know what that other is. We would know. Hold on a second. I'm this infinite light being that all I got to do is get out of my own way. So the better upgraded version, the higher level of consciousness that I have, because we just expanded consciousness and tried it one way and that didn't feel good. So, but we've got the expanded consciousness from that now that I just sent up to me. And so me now knows, here, let's do it this way. Hold on a second. You got to get that crap out of the way, though. I can't send the better way down. And this is how we're designed to function. But we have not known this because somehow or another, that was either not explained to us or we lost the knowledge. And so we have been in fear of letting go of any experience we had. It's kind of like hoarders. We have hoarded anything and kept everything rather than letting go of the bad stuff out of fear that, well, it may be junk, but at least it's my junk.
Right. And some people are afraid of control.
Yeah, right.
So in either direction, it could be controlling them or them controlling something. And some people, it's control is a fear.
But it's not control. This is you.
No, right.
This is you being well.
Right.
This fuel that we're talking about, this energy that we're talking about, this fuels the exoskeleton of you, or the energetic field of you, which then fuels the bio field of you, which fuels your physicality. Because where do we think the physical being came from? It comes from the energetic being. And that is where we become healthy and stay healthy as physical beings. When we are in frequency, as Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about in his honeymoon effect, when we're in frequency, when we are doing the things that feel good to us, we're healthy. We feel on top of the world. That's because all of the chemicals we need, we are getting them. We are being fueled adequately for that experience, because that experience is in frequency with us. It is what we are meant to be doing. It is the healthy, best experience for us as one whole, complete light being. But when we do a lesser experience, we are not getting adequate fuel for the physicality that is us. And so we don't have adequate fuel, the Krebs cycle. We're not making adequate endorphins. We're not making adequate neurotransmitters, et cetera, et cetera. And the physical body gets sick. And that is why we have to stay in frequency. That is why feeling good is our job.
Right.
And so the very thing we're afraid of is the very thing that keeps us healthy. And our physicality, killing ourselves with I'm going to stay healthy. You're not doing the things to stay healthy because you're not doing the things that feel good, because you're coping and you're trying to do it from this end, and you're not getting the energy from the end that it comes from. You're not getting the fuel that fueled you, that created you, that made you to begin with, because you are energy that is slowed down to express a certain experience. And that experience changes all the time because you are energy in motion, and you don't control it on this end. You're the expression end. This is the end. It comes down from here. It comes this way. And but you are one whole, complete light being. Wholeness is wellness. We have to know we are one whole, complete light being. And the fear that keeps getting propagated out there, that keeps dividing us, that is my issue. But I needed for us to establish all of that, because today I got this. I logged on this morning and I got led to some stuff that, as you know, I do very little listening online, so I don't feel like I've been, okay, was I channeled that, or did I hear somebody else say it? I didn't listen 5 minutes until I was in such a state, girl. Talk about my reaction, because our reaction is all we control. But I was in such a state because of, once again, the fear that is being put out. Because when fear is put out, fear is a lower vibration. Fear lowers everyone's vibration, and that keeps everyone's vibration down. What we are doing is, as everyone's vibration goes up, every time anyone holds their frequency and comes up in vibration, comes up in level of consciousness, anyone on the planet, that reverberates out, and everyone's is pulled up a little bit, because energy is all connected. It's synergistic. And that is why our most important job is to be in frequency. Because if I'm out of frequency, I am reverberating out, as we talked about earlier. If we're not in frequency with one another, if we're tuned differently, it's not resonant. Okay, that doesn't feel good. That is chaotic energy. Everyone is to be in frequency. So we are reverberating out harmoniously within this energetic bandwidth of love. And I'll get to that in a second. But what was being put out today was this stuff about how everyone is feeling tired right now. And it's because the universe is using this time. And while we are sleeping, the universe is using our energy to bring the planet up again in frequency. Stop. As James T. Kirk said, why does God need a spaceship? Talk about instilling fear. Hold on a second. I go to sleep and the universe is using my energy. Then it went on to say, and you don't want to miss what the universe is telling you in your dreams at night, because we got the like 3 seconds. Be sure you write it all down real quick, because the stuff you're getting in those dreams is so you know what it is you need to be doing during this month when we're getting all this energy, because it's telling you like how to have the love of your life and how to have that job you really want, et cetera, et cetera. And you don't want to get left behind as we all go from 3D to 5D, because the planet is shifting from 3D to 5D and you don't want to get left behind. Excuse me, how do I get left behind? You mean, this is starting to sound like a bad religious movie. Talk about instilling fear. Talk about bringing the frequency down. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, does God need a spaceship? Why does God need a spaceship? The things that are out there that still divide us into, I don't even understand. Yeah. So I went a little low vibrational. I went into anger. I went into that I just can't believe the stuff that is out there and that people are listening to and that people believe. And then people they get their paper by the bedside, and then they're like, oh my God, but I don't remember what it was, and I'm going to get left behind. And so it sends them into this tailspin of fear, and that pulls them out of frequency and holds them down in free. It's like coping mechanism all over again. It gets in their chakra system. It blocks it. This is teaching that does the exact same thing. And then all this stuff about narcissism that's out there. Is narcissism an issue? You absolutely better believe it is. But narcissism, along with obsessive compulsive disorder and an addiction and anxiety and any other type of, and me getting mad and overreacting like I did, because boy, when I ended up having to sleep all day because I just, all of those things are, and one whole complete light being, I had this fear reaction, because my fear is, how many people are believing this? Oh God, you're not doing what you should do. You're not reaching enough people. How many people are, this person's reaching millions. You're reaching less than 100 a week probably. And they're propagating fear and da-da-da-da-da. So then I felt bad about myself, etc. There, all that stuff in my chakra system, blocking the me that is me from coming down, etc., etc., etc. That's what all of those things are. Whether it's narcissism, no matter what it is, we have to deal with them all the same way. Everything the same way. But instead, we tell people, you're right. You had a narcissist in your life. And so you need to, and then we just keep talking and talking and talking and talking about how bad it was. And we just keep dragging them through the energy of it and dragging them through the energy of it and dragging them through the energy of it. And yes, you probably have post-traumatic stress syndrome from it, and dragging them through the energy of it. No, we do it. You were abused. Yes, I was abused, and I've had narcissists in my life. All of those things are true. I'm not negating any of those, but every single one of those things we deal with exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. We are fragmented. We stop. We forgive it all. We return their energy to them. We protect our energetic field. We get them out of it so they can't do it to us anymore. We protect ourselves. That's perfectly fine. We give them their energy back. We call ours back to us. We've learned from the experience. That is higher vibrational frequency now. We call that energy up and we go forward on our timeline. We do not stay in the thinking mind, thinking, and now I've learned all this about narcissism, and now I've got to talk to everybody about it. And oh, look at me, look what I've been through. And he did this and he did that, and she did this and she no, because you're just dragging yourself right through it again over and over and over. Or oh, it was obsessive compulsive disorder and da da da. No, now you're still in obsessive because you're still in the loop of it, and you're not clearing
the energy of it.
yeah, you're not clearing the chakra system of it, and your higher self, you got the feedback. You got the feedback. And up here, it's like, okay, we've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I've got new energy to give you. I've got a new experience to send down. I've got a new expression to come out through the crystalline grid that is you in the earth star chakra to be refracted out. I've got a great new experience for you. But you're still trapped in trauma, drama, blame, shame, woulda, coulda, shoulda loop, thinking that you're this physical being and that's what you're supposed to do. And it's being fed and propagated by this. And on top of that, oh God, don't forget your dreams and don't get left behind. And you got this new business. And if you don't do it this month, well, you might not be 5D and you may not get there. And what the are we telling people? We aren't telling people what we need to. We're instilling more fear. And where's the love part? And where's the part where we're telling people really and truly, it is your chakra system being intact and you knowing you're an energetic being and where your power comes from and what you do with that power that matters. Where is that? Where is it where we tell them that, okay, even when you know that, you blow up and you have your moment, but it only lasts for a little bit because you know better, you are consciously aware, and you turn it around and then you get on with Lisa and you do a show about it so people know. Where is that?
And I'm going to add to something. I did not want to interrupt that role because damn girl, that was good. I was not about to butt in, but I'm going to ask you to scrub back 2 minutes ish. And I'm going to piggyback.
Your turn.
Roll. So this is when I'm teaching intuition development and I'm in session with clients and I'm teaching them how to clear their energy. This is how I explain it. Okay. So thank you for your explanation because it was perfect, but I'm going to add to. Please do. I think the statistic is 95% of the global population is empathic, right? So that's 95% of the entire world population feels the other person's energy in the room. So we're in a room together. We're virtually in a room together, but we're in space. We're holding space right now together. And because I am me, I have about 50 people's energies glommed onto me. And you have about 50 people's energy glommed onto you. Now, what if we went out into public? What if we went to the grocery store or the gas station or, like to the drive-through to get a milkshake on the way home? How many people in public? Let's say there's 10 other people in the store. That's 50 people per person of attachment that is glomming onto us. And so you're talking about all of that energy blocking our channel, not allowing our higher selves to reach us. So it's so important to clear our energy and return our energy back to ourselves every day, because we're not just clearing our energy. We're not just sending it back to the one person that's in our life. You're dealing with everyone in your neighborhood, on your street, through the walls to your neighbor's house. It's all coming in through the heart line. That's heart math. That's science. They've scientifically proven that we're all connected that way. And 95% of us not just know it, but feel it and take it on. And if we're not clearing that on a regular basis, and let's talk about going out in public. So not only do you need to do it when you wake up in the morning because you've been astral traveling to God knows where and picking up all kinds of galactic energies from wherever, not only do you need to do it every night before you go to bed because you've been out in the world and a human, but every single time you go out in public. So multiple times a day, I'm clearing my energy and returning my energy back to me.
Me too.
Because I have at least 200, 500 people's energies clombed onto me that I'm not even trying to associate with. It's just there by mere time and space. And you go to work, and how many people work in your office, in your building, on your block, in your city? I mean, the plants and the animals carry it too.
Everything is made of energy. Some energy did not incarnate as and come down. Okay, some incarnate is kind of has a religious connotation to it. Some energy did not slow its molecules down to express itself in human form. Some energy chose to be a tree, or somehow that decision was made. How that decision is made, I don't know. That's above my pay grade, and I don't get paid for any of this. So it's or however I'm paid, whatever my cosmic bank account is, I don't know where that's at. So I haven't yet found that bank account, but yeah. So all right. So I want to get to why I say we're in this energetic bandwidth of love and how we got there. And this goes back to in the beginning. Okay. In the beginning, there was energy, neither bad nor good, just energy. And under universal law, one of the universal laws has to do with how energy, it just keeps dividing and dividing. Cells keep dividing and dividing, and molecular structures keep dividing and dividing, however you want to look at it, whatever small atoms, whatever little tiny thing you want to take it down to, everything, when it gets acted upon by something, it divides. So energy just kept dividing and dividing and dividing, which meant it was pretty much a mirror image. There was some organic change. And sometimes, for some reason, something would act upon something. And when energy acts upon something, then that's not balanced like this. But when something acts upon you, well, that could be expansion or that could be implosion. But either way, it's either going to go boom or boom, one of the two. That's chaotic. So orderly is when things just divide, and it's orderly because it's in frequency, but there's an organic expansion of it. But whenever energy runs into each other, doesn't match up, whatever, and then there's either explosion or implosion. And all that was happening just naturally. And then at one point, some part of energy became aware. It started vibrating at a frequency that it felt something. It just knew. It didn't know how it knew. It just, wait a second, I just know. It got into that frequency finally. It started vibrating at that frequency that it knew. It became consciously aware. And so it kept doing this and kept doing this and kept doing this. And then at some point, it didn't want to just experience itself anymore, or it didn't want to just experience these random implosions and explosions. It wanted to do it differently. And so it started coming up with, okay, if I divide myself this way, or if I divide myself that way, but it still had to use universal law to do that. Okay. So finally, we get to the point where we are in this plane of existence. That's all we know about, or all I know about, all I've been channeled about at this point in time is this plane of existence. And in this plane of existence, source energy allowed co-creation, which is where all of these light beings, which is a division of source, all of these light beings got to slow their energy down for expression through density. So source could see all of its divisions of itself. So here it's mirrored and mirrored and mirrored, then it's divided itself, and all of its divisions get to co-create for individual expression. So we have all this new expansion of consciousness, co-creating, and it's just pretty much free form because never been done that way before. This is a new way to expand consciousness under universal law, everything coming in, imploding, exploding, or doing this. And I'll be dadgum, we got down into some frequencies as we were doing this that were dense, and we had these physical beings that we were expressing through. And these physical beings are sentient. They feel it. They feel it. And source became aware of, started feeling, these beings are suffering. They're starving. They're killing each other. They're hurting each other. when they get in these dense energies, this is not good. This is not stable. It's chaotic. The bandwidth that is stable is love and above. But when I allow them to co-create, there's no stability. So we had to bring everything back into wholeness. All that instability that you were talking about, all that, how were you describing it? Where if there's fear, we had to close that meter up. So we go back to oneness, ourselves, the individual light beings that we are, come back to oneness. So we are consciously aware that we're one whole complete light being. We get the middle densities of ourselves under control. So we don't have all of these that don't want our highest and best good pushing their agenda through instead of our highest and best good. We come back to oneness. And then the quantum light, which is blue light, violet light, which goes faster than white light, keeps us in oneness. And then we recreate source energy. That's why we're told when we manifest, everything already exists. Source is vibrating. Source consciousness is expanding. And source lets us know, okay, this is the option. And then our higher self sees all the options. And then we get to pretty much pick. We get to feel all these good options in the bandwidth of love. And so what do you want to do? What do you want to be? What do you want to experience? And those things get to be expressed through us. But we have to stay in the bandwidth of love. We have to become consciously aware. We have to come into oneness with self and become consciously aware of what we are. Energetic beings, this is how we work. We have to keep our chakra system healthy. This is our health, wealth, abundance, prosperity, and longevity of life policy. This is how it happens, folks. We have to learn that we can live physically longer. We're actually supposed to live a whole long time, because as long as we have passion about this life, there's no reason to keep trading out the model that we're doing this through. Right. There's no reason to. There's no reason to, as long as what you're expressing through can stay passionate about what it's doing and you're keeping it healthy. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're meant to do. And you don't have to cram it all in to 80 years or 100 years or 200 years or 400 years. So we can have things, we have the energetic bandwidth to do things at a pace where we actually enjoy them. We don't have to try to have 80 hours into a 40-hour week. We don't have to try to do that, because there's not energetic bandwidth to do that and keep our chakra system healthy, to give adequate energy to ourselves and to others, to actually attract in and hold frequency under universal law. So everything works under universal law. That's the science of it. But this is the art of it, the expression. Source seeing the recreation of its creation through the density, the lower vibrational frequency and physicality of each one of its light beings. And that's what's happening. But there is nothing about that to be fearful of, but we have to be consciously aware of it. So that's what we're all coming up to, and why we have to stay in the energetic bandwidth of love. But there's no one is being controlled. The only control that has been enforced here is, guess what? We've all been there, done that. We finally know, we expanded consciousness that way and found out it doesn't feel good, and it's not healthy, and it's not sustainable, because it's chaotic. And if it's reverberating out here, chaotic, it's reverberating out into all of the cosmos, because everything is connected. So it really is from the micro to the macro. We cannot, as a planet, be allowed to continue to stay in chaos. Because if we stay in chaos, if each individual stays in chaos, we are reverberating out chaos around us. And then around us means around, as you were saying, the community, and then around our city, our county, our state, our country, our world, and the chaos of our world reverberates out into the cosmos. We all have to come back to love. And love does not mean that the universe is draining our energy to raise the planet up. Love means we are freely in frequency, raising the vibrational frequency of the planet by being in the frequency of love and reverberating out the right frequency, a higher vibration. Love means that my reactions are getting better and better all the time. I'm tired because I've got low vibrational energy around me and I'm still learning to do this, but I'm not tired because the universe is draining me. And I'm not tired because, oh my God, I didn't journal and I might get left behind. I'm not getting left behind on anything.
Right. And it's fear-based because it's comfortable to be in what's familiar.
Yeah.
So what's familiar is the discomfort, the fear. And you have to want to choose to be in love. So that's the conundrum. But it is just a choice. What people forget, they struggle with, how do I say yes or how do I say no, whichever way their discernment is going. Wherever it is they need to practice. Do you need to practice no more? Do you need to practice yes more? But what people forget is everything is choice. So if you're choosing no, you have to identify the opposite. For every no, there is a yes. So if you're saying no to love of self, you're saying yes to the fear. You're continually saying yes to the fear. If you're saying yes to the love, what in the no are you saying no to? And you look at your choice, but also look at the opposite. And the opposite answer is where the healing work needs to happen. And that's how you shift from discomfort to comfort and get closer and closer.
And it's understanding cause and effect. It's understanding what the universal laws are. And so
there's 12 of them.
Yeah. And that's what I want to get to, is that what I want to do is teach everyone how to use the fact that, okay, you are energy. This is your chakra system. This is how it works. This is how you keep it clean and pure and your energy coming down. These are the universal laws that you have to understand that as energy you function under. But beyond that, then as this comes down, there's unconditional love. What does that mean? You need to understand that, because that's basically based upon cause and effect. Unconditional love is. And so once we understand that, then it's writing your story. But this is what I got a couple days ago. Almost everything I write, I either start with, I don't usually start with once upon a time or in the beginning. I either start like in the middle of the story or I start at the end of the story. And that's because none of us got to control, including energy itself, because energy didn't know until it became conscious. So energy started in the middle. And energy has had to work itself backwards. It got in the middle of it and said, oh crap, chaos. we need the order of love. Everything's healthy in love. I need to get my physical beings back into to the frequency of love. I need to get my physical beings in the frequency of love, because I've got physical beings that I want to express through, and they're suffering. And I have felt the pain that energy has felt over that. I get that channeled to me all the time. And it is excruciating what our source energy feels over not knowing. But how can you know? Because in the beginning, it was just energy and it didn't know until it did it. And that's why we forgive everything, including narcissism, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That doesn't mean you allow it again, which is what source energy is saying. I'm not going to allow this again. I'm putting the physical beingness in the bandwidth of love.
And I'm going to make a challenge. For me, it's not that I don't forgive. I do. And it is an important step. Forgiveness isn't a step, it's a practice, in my opinion.
Yes.
But it's not about forgiveness. I'm going to challenge you on this one. It's not about forgiveness. It's about rising above it.
Absolutely.
And accepting. It's about acceptance, not forgiveness.
I agree with you. Forgiveness is the wrong word. It's just the word that people relate to. It is rising above. It is looking.
Well, then I challenge you, the listener.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you. As a matter of fact, we've had that discussion on the shows before that really forgiveness just simply means you're at a higher level of consciousness now and you can see it for what it is and
Mhm.
you accept that and and you
And
accept
you
that
don't react.
yeah, you don't react. Again, the word I wrote down, which is our reactions to the vibration below is the issue. Our reactions to the vibration below is the issue, is what I have written down. So I agree with you totally. But forgiveness is the word that most people understand. So it's not, and you're right to bring that
And
up.
there's a problem with it because they do that and then they think, oh, I don't have any more work to do. I did it. It's done. It's out of my hands. Nope. No, no.
Oh,
The work is just starting once you do the forgiveness step. It's just starting. That's the stepping stone.
because and I'm always challenging the vernacular because I don't like that we use the word healing because it's not healing, it's progressing. I've
Mhm.
changed a lot of the words and I use I use
Mhm.
a
And you're
whole.
right. Yeah, you're right.
So we need to do the same with forgiveness because forgiveness
Mhm.
puts the wrong thing out there and people are like, there she goes again, wanting me to forgive it. The
The
loop,
wrong mindset. Yep.
it triggers.
Yep. I can
So
stop now. No, you can't.
no, it's you've come up in consciousness above it. You see it for what it is and you don't let that back into your energetic field. And that's what Source has done.
Not mine. Mine, not mine.
Yeah, and that
Yep.
is beautiful because that's what Source has done. Source has said, okay, we did all that. We did
Mhm.
it. We have to let it
Oh, I'm
go.
over there. Yeah.
Let it go. We're up here now. It's down
Mhm.
here. We have to let it go. And I think the reason we use the word forgiveness is because we hold on to it and we keep it in the chakra system and we cope with it.
Well, it's the surface. It's the shallow surface where people
Right.
live. It's the pool. It's the
Yes.
pool where everybody hangs out. They don't go out of the water or they don't go into the deeper water. They stay in the shallow pool. So, yeah.
And it's what everybody knows. It's the muckety muck that everybody knows. And so they will stay in that because they don't know what the other is. And it is learning to trust that, staying in
Mhm.
love. But here's the problem, we're using the word love, and most people don't trust love because love
Mhm.
has disappointed.
Historically, right. Historically, it's hurt them. Right.
Yeah. So maybe we need even a different word for love. Maybe we don't even need to call it love. And I don't know what that is, but it needs
I
to be.
I heard a frequency in my head. It's not of human language.
Quite
It's a
sure. Yeah, I got to that. Okay, you're really getting out there now. You're right, and there is something else, and that's why we use the lights. That's why we talk about the colors and the frequencies and the numbers is to try to get people
feeling.
to think differently and not to hear. Oh, well, there she goes with that love stuff again. That is all just, I'd like to buy the world of Coke for those in our age group because it's our age group that's going to be listening here. You know exactly what I'm talking about. When I was a little girl,
Uh-huh.
God, I cried with that commercial and I would just stand up
Polar bear.
because me too, because you know what? I knew that was right. Everything in me was drawn to that commercial because I knew it was right.
Gotta sense it.
Yeah, I sensed it because I knew that everything reverberated out. I knew everything was cause and effect. I knew that phrase. I knew that phrase from somewhere. Well, I know from where. But so yeah, so that's what I've been all in an uproar and a tizzy about today. And I was exhausted. And I was exhausted because it's like I grieve like Source does over how many people are out there who don't know their energy and what that means. I know that what I'm supposed to do is explain, okay, this is your chakra system. I'm not teaching you morality. I'm not teaching you what's right or wrong. I'm teaching you there's this energetic bandwidth that you're going to feel good in. And if you stay in that energetic bandwidth, you're going to be healthy, happy, whole, and complete. And everybody else around you is, you're going to be reverberating out what you're supposed to be. And not only you are going to be better for it, but the entire cosmos, because it's from the macro to the micro and the micro to the macro. It works both ways.
Because people don't just glom onto you. You glob onto them too.
Right. And so it's what's good for you is good for them. What's good for them is good for you in every way. And I know that it's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I get, sometimes it just hits me. it just hits me when I hear this stuff and I see how many people it's reaching, and I know the fear that it instills. And I just because I'm like, I reached how many people this week? And that means somewhere in here in my chakra system, somewhere in this loop, I'm listening to something in this loop that keeps me doing it the same way. And somewhere in my chakra system, my higher self is screaming at me, I've got another way. I've got another way. I've got another way. But you're doing this because you're afraid and you need to let it go. I know everything I'm saying applies.
Mm-hmm.
And so today I've been exhausted and I've slept most of the day. And I hope that somewhere in that sleep, the answer came. No, I didn't wake up and have 3 seconds to write it down. And no, if I didn't write it down, did I miss it? And have I been left behind? And none of that. I'm not afraid, but I'm so ready. I'm so ready to change everything because I hurt for every person who doesn't know this. And for I hurt for the times that I fail other people that are close to me because I want my relationships to be better. And I know this, and yet my relationships aren't perfect because they're not at the same frequency as me. And instead of me just raising above it, the other thing that this person was teaching was that we were being challenged to let go of everyone that wasn't in frequency with us. And I've taught this. If they're not in frequency with you, let them go. If it's not in flow, let it go. Well, letting it go doesn't mean you have to let them out of your life. But this person was pretty much teaching it like you're being told you got to just totally, it means you change the amount of energetic bandwidth you're giving to them. You change how you're giving it to them. And that's what troubled me was today, are people and thinking that I'm saying, and I have said, I'm not saying don't ever see your family again. I still see my family. It's not saying don't ever speak to that person. Don't ever, what I'm saying is you change how you're doing relationship with them.
If you can't change the world, you change yourself. Right.
Right. And so, and that may mean you have to stay away from someone. It may not mean you have to stay away from them. It's
Boundaries. There's all kinds of different, yeah.
Right. It's going to be different in every case. But we're also learning how to do relationship differently. We're learning what that means to be one whole complete light being, whole in ourselves, and then to have that third dimension where that's the relationship and how we work that relationship. And that relationship dimension is where we give each other space to do this growing at a different pace. And that's the other thing I wanted to get to. Some people, yes, they are not resonant with you and they're pulling you out of frequency. And you do have to set a boundary, which I don't even like that word. You do have to say, you cannot be in my energetic bandwidth. I'm pulling my energetic bandwidth back from you. And I'm not letting you close enough to me because you have not yet gotten to where they're not pulling you out of frequency. Sometimes you have, but that relationship dimension exists. And this is why. Not just so we have not one energy, but two energies, but three energies. Therefore, we are exponentially raising the vibrational frequency of the planet, not just for that reason. Not because we are actually still co-creating, because that is not just co-creating, that's procreating and co-creating. If you look at it, we just create a life. But, but because that space gives us our space to do all the things we're supposed to. It gives them space to do all the things they're supposed to. And it gives us that space to figure out, how do we do what we're supposed to do together? It gives us that space to learn how to be in relationship together. And for some of us, we're at different levels, and it may take a bit before we reach the same level. Now, some people may never reach the same level and be able to be in a cohabitating relationship together, a long-lasting relationship together. And so that may be a short-term 3. But for others, it may well be possible. And it may well be the bedrock of how we teach everyone unconditional love really looks. But unconditional love, it looks like letting that person go. If you can't come into it's love and light, though, because we're see the light go up, because we're in the frequency, we're in the bandwidth of love. And so it's not contentious, it's not argumentative, it's not painful, it's not where you explain and try to get them to see it your way. And it's where you just, okay, we're not getting anywhere. Our three is not growing, it's not thriving. Maybe we let it stay dormant for a bit, or maybe we just let it go, but we do it with love and light. But that's what the three is for. The three is for, can this grow? Can this thrive? How do we do it? And it is, though, where you have to learn to communicate, and you have to learn how to do this. And some of the threes will make it, some of the threes won't, but we're learning to do relationship differently. But we're learning to do all of this: jobs, family, friends, intimacy, all relationships in the bandwidth of love, because we're learning to do everything love and above. And it is not fear-based. Nobody's getting left behind. The whole planet's coming up. Our energy's not being robbed by the universe at night when we sleep. None of that stuff. So please don't listen to that. And please start sharing this stuff, because this isn't arrogance, but this is just truth. And this is what people need to hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, and if you want to know more about this stuff, contact me or Lisa. If you want to know how to do this, Lisa has a great program. I have great programs. And it's time. I don't know what it is that I'm blocking and that needs to come down, but I'm ready to stop blocking whatever it is, because it has. I know that what I have to say is right, not because I'm right, but because I'm in the frequency of love, and I understand that.
Right.
And I'm not in the business of peddling fear.
No.
And I don't want fear having millions of followers and love not. That's what I'm so upset about today. It's not about me. I don't want fear having millions of followers anymore.
No.
And having a few hundred. We can call it something else. If love makes me sound naive, okay, let's call it faster vibrating energy. Let's call it the energy that is across the finish line first. Let's call it, I don't know, let's call it whatever you want to call it. Well, make it that if you need to. Make it sound, I don't know, I don't know, whatever people need to call it. I'm sure we're going to be channeled something.
Yeah.
One or both of us will be.
And just remember that keeping your energy field clear and unclogged and unglommed and uncluttered and free of chaos doesn't mean that you're living in fear or that you need protection, because the being told the program of needing to be protected is fear-based. No one needs to be protected from anything. It's a matter of choosing to be in higher vibration. If you believe you need to protect yourself, then you're practicing fear, the fear program.
I went through that so long. I have gone through all those, and that's what people coming up through the levels of consciousness go through.
As they start tapping into their intuition. And like I said, I teach intuition development, and that's the first question I get from 90% of my students. How do I protect myself? And I'm like, why do you want to protect yourself? It's not about protection. Just like we were talking about the forgiveness, it's not about forgiveness. It's about rising above it. It's the same with the need to be protection. It's not about protecting yourself. It's about being the better person, being the stronger light, the brighter light. It's, I don't know.
I do understand what you're saying. Our health, and it's because I know this too. The reason I come from the chronic pain, invisible illness world, the reason my background is health and wellness, I know, is because everything comes from knowing where our energy comes from, knowing that we are energy, knowing we're one whole complete light being, and that wholeness is wellness. I know that because that is what people need to understand. Our health, our wealth, our abundance, our prosperity, our longevity of life is this one concept. And it is the higher frequency you are, the more light you're letting in, the higher you're vibrating, the more health, wealth, abundance, prosperity, and longevity of life you're going to have. And how to get that out there? Every life is a story. Each thing we do is a timeline. Each person we allow into our energetic field has a role that they agree to come in and do their way, not tell them to, but vibrating in their frequency. And if it doesn't resonate with us, then if it doesn't flow, we let them go. Where they do, that's unconditional love. And we have to know where we're going and how we want to feel and be and experience things so that we don't stay in the loop. Because if we don't know, hold on a second, I don't want to feel this this way anymore. If we don't have not a goal that is exact, where we're telling the energy that is us to do exactly this, because if we tell it that, then we're still creating it here. So we're not creating something new.
So say your spiel again, the blame, shame, guilt spiel. What is it game you say?
Trauma, blame, shame, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Right.
Yeah.
What we have to do is just say, I want to feel differently. And this is what I want to feel. And I want it to look like, and I want it to be, and this is some of the things that I want to go on, but
about sincere intention.
Yeah. How it happens though. And then we have to be, if we want to stay here and keep doing it, we have to stay motivated and inspired. That's what the sacral chakra is. And the root chakra is, that is what we are all here to do. And we have to be passionate about it, because my doing it and you doing it means that I get it and you get it, and that the world is in order and the cosmos is in order and chaos ends. And I think that's red, not just because it's fiery and it's passionate, but I think it's red because it's a priority.
Yes.
It's a priority.
Yes.
And so that's what we're here to do. And yeah, we're here to get out of our own way and do that. And just keep rising above. Just keep rising above. And so, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about tonight.
I love it. Thank you. I've been clearing energy on different points.
Yeah, so just pontificate. What do you got to say here? Just let it go.
Oh no, I nothing. Everything was awesome. This was such a fun conversation. Thank you.
Well, yeah, this is kind of how I roll.
Yeah, well, and we know this, but the listener, the viewer may not. But yeah, we have such a similar approach to the work we do, to the clients we attract. We have the same message. And so this is, I loved this. Thank you.
I do too. Thank you so much. And I think what I would like to say is, for anyone out there who is interested at 11:12, which is very auspicious for me and for Lisa as well, actually.
It's 10:11 for me here.
Okay. And tomorrow is a portal day. It's 828. So, and I'm very into numerology, folks. But I do want to say real briefly, don't get hung up on, because I do not want to put that fear into you. Oh my God, I missed the portal day. Energy is energy. Every day is a portal of some sort, because every chakra you have is a portal. Energy, points of energetic transference is what a portal is. So your eyes are the most powerful portal you have, because everything that you allow to come in and out, your mouth, everything you say, your ears, everything you hear. So we are powerful portals ourselves. Our nose, what we smell, everything about us is a portal. So
Stomach.
Yeah. So you are not missing anything. You're just it's an opportunity to tap into some energy, but you can tap into it anytime. So don't get hung up on that. Do not think for a moment that I'm instilling fear in you. But what I would like to say is, if you would like to have either of us or both of us come and talk to your group, if you would like to have a group together for 3 days, a week, whatever, 2 weeks, someplace, so, you know, your
An
home.
hour. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, an hour. Okay. If you know, I don't know, your hometown on the ocean somewhere, Europe, I don't know. If a place that you want to, yeah, yeah, you know, someplace you want to get together and find out how to write your life as a story. If you want to understand the chakra system, if you want to understand the things we're talking about, Lisa's program that she could bring, we are very open to coming and doing that, because
Yes.
we are about, it is a higher perspective. It is coming up in frequency all the time, and always understanding that energy is always moving. And so we are always either up leveling or staying in this loop. And who wants to stay in the loop and keep doing the same thing when we're here to expand consciousness?
Right. People are told constantly life is supposed to be hard. And they believe that, they accept it. So they're like, okay, it's hard.
It is not.
And you don't have to struggle. No, no, you don't. It's where we are here. You and I both, our work is about making our ascension, raising our consciousness on the more comfortable level. We're here to make it, the whole process, more comfortable for you.
Source has so grieved that, and Source has grieved that expansion of consciousness meant, I didn't know. We didn't know. Yes, we were in denser energies. Yes, the physicality has over and over, and is still in many places on the planet going through some very dense stuff. But the goal is to get into that bandwidth where that stops happening and never happens again. And that's what we want to teach and show and explain and help with. And that's not pie in the sky, folks. And the more people doing it, the more people who are practicing just small things every day, just small things every day. One moment of being a frequency reverberates out a butterfly effect of change.
Beautiful effect. Because we're all worthy.
We're all worthy.
We're all worthy.
We are all part of the same source energy. And so
and it's our birth-given right as humans.
What I just got is part of the reason why everyone is staying in this loop and not coming up into frequency is the grief that is energetically attached to the energetic DNA of everyone, that Source is clearing in everyone. That is Source's grief for having allowed the expansion of consciousness and of the physicality, our physicality, to get into this denseness. And so the unworthiness that Source has felt, the emotion of unworthiness, because look what I let the physical beings go through. But Source knows, because Source is here now, you got to let that go. I can't get them out of it holding on to that. And so Source is saying, everyone let it go so you can all come up. I'm not going to leave any of you behind, not a single one. You may not let it go in this lifetime, and you may have to come back as another light being, and it may be the next time around. And this stuff that's being taught about it being Earth or university, and it's hard, and you're there to learn lessons, that's where all this is coming from. But no, that's not it at all. I'm bringing you up in frequency so you get up into the bandwidth where this won't happen again. Because I know now. Because I expanded consciousness, I found out what chaos was, and I'm bringing you back to order. Because I know now. I'm up here. I know. I am. And I am love. And you are all me. And you are love. And we are going to stay love. I'm not leaving anybody out of love.
Our goal is to help people understand that we've been through it. We know what it looks like on the other side, and we want you to join us on this side.
Yeah.
It's beautiful on this side. We can help you get there.
Yeah.
Get here.
Yeah. So, anybody wants us to do that? We're your gals. Just reach out. It's I'll tell you, it's 601-415-1846. Text me, call me. I'm ready to go.
I'll send you the notes to put in the notes under the YouTube. I'll send you mine. Thanks.
All right, everyone. Thank you.
I love you. Thank you.